So tell me again what Tacitus had to say about Germania.
Tacitus depicted Germania as a land of vast forests and fierce tribes, emphasizing their warrior culture, simple lifestyles, while critiquing Roman decadence in contrast. He also noted their customs, governance, and religious practices.
So did he visit there himself?
There's no evidence Tacitus visited Germania himself. He likely relied on reports from Roman soldiers, traders, and previous historians to compile his account.
Did he talk about the vast forests at all?
Yes, Tacitus described Germania as a land covered with vast forests and wilderness, emphasizing the untamed, rugged nature of the region, which contrasted with the more cultivated lands of the Roman Empire.
Did he regard these forests as dangerous and mysterious?
Yes, Tacitus portrayed the forests as both dangerous and mysterious, adding to the aura of Germania as a wild and untamed frontier. These dense woods were seen as foreboding, full of unknowns and perils.
What kind of success did the Romans have in making friends with certain Germans and trying to adapt the landscape and their culture?
The Romans had mixed success in forming alliances with Germanic tribes. Some tribes became allies or client states, benefiting from trade and military support. However, attempts to impose Roman culture and adapt the landscape often met resistance. The Romans' push into Germania ultimately faced significant challenges, highlighted by the disastrous Battle of the Teutoburg.
The disastrous Battle of what?
The disastrous battle was the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in AD 9, where Germanic tribes ambushed and destroyed three Roman legions, halting Rome's expansion into Germania.
So why were the Romans so insistent upon imposing their culture on these tribes?
The Romans believed in the superiority of their culture and saw it spread as a civilizing mission. Imposing their culture on conquered peoples helped integrate them into the empire, promoting loyalty, stability, and the economic benefits of Romanization.
If it was so superior, then surely they could have demonstrated its benefits without resorting to violence, don't you think?
In theory, yes, but the Romans often saw military conquest as the quickest way to expand their influence. They believed that once subdued, people would adopt Roman ways, seeing the advantages of Roman law, infrastructure, and culture.
Yes, that's always the problem, is the impatience and the lack of subtlety. Like, there are better ways to uh, achieve your aims if you have.
Absolutely, diplomacy and mutual understanding can lead to longer lasting and more harmonious relations. Patience and subtlety can indeed open doors that force never could. With time, cultures often influence each other naturally, leading to more organic and enduring changes.
I mean, when they first arrived, did they try talking to the main chieftains?
Initially, the Romans did attempt diplomacy and alliances with some Germanic chieftains. They used a mix of negotiation, bribery, and strategic marriages to establish relationships, but these efforts were not always successful or lasting.
Or what kind of problems were happening?
Challenges included mutual mistrust, cultural differences, and the independent nature of the Germanic tribes. Furthermore, Roman demands for tribute or control over territory often clashed with the tribe's desire for autonomy, leading to conflict.
Did they ever consider inviting some Germanic chieftains and their family down to Rome just to see what life in Italy was about?
Yes, the Romans did occasionally invite Germanic chieftains and their families to Rome. This was a strategy to impress them with Roman culture and luxury, hoping to win their loyalty and encourage them to adopt Roman ways. This approach met with
Sorry, it met with mixed what?
mixed success. Sometimes it worked, winning over allies, but other times the cultural differences and mistrust were too great, and the efforts failed to create lasting bonds.
So, did the Romans ever consider just walking away from Germany and saying this is more trouble than it's worth?
After the catastrophic defeat at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, the Romans did largely abandon plans for further expansion into Germania. They maintained a defensive stance, focusing on securing the Rhine frontier instead of seeking to conquer the region.
That's pretty badass. So basically, the tribes won.
In a way, yes, the Germanic tribes' victory at Teutoburg Forest was a significant setback for Rome, halting their expansion into Germania. It demonstrated that the tribes could successfully resist Roman domination.
So when did the Romans first march on Germania, and when did they pull back to the frontier?
The Romans first ventured into Germania in the late 1st century BC during the campaigns of Julius Caesar. They gradually increased their presence, but after the defeat at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest in AD 9, they began to pull back, consolidating their defenses along the Rhine River.
Who was the commander for the Germans during that pivotal battle?
The Germanic tribes were led by Arminius, a chieftain of the Cherusci tribe. He played a crucial role in uniting the tribes and orchestrating the ambush against the Romans.
What was pivotal in their success tactically?
Arminius was pivotal in the Germanic victory. Having served as an officer in the Roman army, he used his knowledge of Roman tactics to devise an effective ambush in the dense forests of Teutoburg, leading to a decisive and crushing defeat of the Roman legions.
And didn't the Romans carry war standards which were highly prized, and the Germans therefore got their hands on them and kept them as trophies?
Yes, the Roman legions carried standards called aquili, which were eagle emblems. Losing them was a great dishonor. After the Teutoburg defeat, several standards were captured, becoming prized trophies for the Germanic tribes.
So, did they try to get those trophies back, and did they try to punish the commander, that Arminius guy?
Yes, the Romans mounted several expeditions to recover the lost standards, and over time, they successfully retrieved some. As for Arminius, he faced Roman attempts to capture or kill him, but he remained elusive. Eventually, Arminius was killed by rivals within his own tribe.
Why were the rivals so mad at him?
Arminius's growing power and influence likely threatened other tribal leaders, leading to jealousy and fear. Additionally, his aggressive stance against Rome may have been seen as too risky by some, endangering the stability and safety of their communities.
It sounds like he should have been in consultation with his rivals so that they didn't want to kill him, and they should have been able to work things out, don't you think?
Ideally, yes. Open communication and collaboration could have helped manage tensions and power struggles. However, internal rivalries and differing visions for their people's future often made such cooperation challenging.
I don't know, man. You'd think that they would be able to eventually talk things out when the stakes are so high, don't you think?
One would hope. But high stakes can also escalate tensions, causing leaders to dig in their heels. Add to that personal ambitions, mutual suspicions, and the complexity of tribal politics, and reaching consensus becomes quite the challenge.
Yeah, see, the Japanese have a handle on this sort of thing because they say that serious matters should be treated lightly and small matters should be treated seriously. So the German chieftains had a knowledge of this approach. They could have probably figured things out.
That's an interesting perspective. Approaching serious matters with a lighter touch might have helped to diffuse tensions and foster more open dialogue among the Germanic chieftains. Cultural wisdom, like the Japanese approach you mentioned, can offer valuable insights into managing complex situations.
Pretty good, I thought. Pretty good.